Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. For today's show, we are in the final countdown of our top 21 players. Players 7 to 1 are revealed on today's show as we come to you from the Oshner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio up here on Veterans Memorial Boulevard, next door to my guy, Matt Bowers Ford dealership. Make sure you come check him out here or one of his many locations throughout the region and get the best car buying experience of your life. Tell him that NOF sent you. All right. Going into the countdown, we're going to keep it rolling with players 7 and 6 in our first topic, presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant and Bar up here on Veterans Memorial Boulevard, right down the street from us. Go check them out, get a plate of food, enjoy the atmosphere, and have a good time. So, player 7, Chase Young. Player 6, Rashid Shaheed.
Let's see where we all had Chase Young, because I had him at 5, which was the high guy. I know I'm ridiculous. I feel bad about it already. We talked in the last show about how maybe I should have put Tyron higher, and usually I'm the guy who overcredits what you've done versus what you could do. But I went Chase Young 5 and Carl Granderson 6 just because they play such impact positions. They're still in the prime of their career. And I just feel like maybe I'm willing it to happen. Maybe I think it should happen. I mean, he should be one of the special players on this team. He showed glimpses of it last year, didn't quite deliver on it, finished with just 5.5 sacks, has never gotten past 7.5 in his career. But now that he's had a fully healthy offseason, now that he's here for year 2, even though it's a new defense and he's comfortable here, he's hitting the ground running this offseason. I don't know. Maybe I'm overrating it, but he's one of the few guys in this list who has a chance to be like on those top 100 NFL player lists. Even though I know we've been saying that for like 6 straight years.
I had him 8th. I feel like that's the right spot. 8.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a top 5 player on the team.
Where'd you have him compared to Granderson?
I had Granderson at 9.
Yeah, so I also went Young slightly ahead of Granderson. We both had him back to back though. Yeah.
I got to see more out of him, man.
Yeah,
like
I
just don't.
I do too.
I just don't feel like the production's there. He had a lot of pressures last year. There's a possibility that flips on its head. The potential and the talent and all that's there. But like he's 3 contracts in on like potential at this point. I got to see it. I just got to see it. Like I don't disparage a top 5 ranking, especially on this team. Like you can get the 5 a lot of different ways on this team. I don't think it's outrageous.
I didn't know what my criteria for 5 was. We've got a top 4, a little preview of what's to come. I think we all. Oh no, that's not true. B snuck someone else in his top 4, but our top 4 was fairly obvious top 4, and then it kind of turned into the wild west a little bit, and so I didn't know what the criteria was. And for me, it's not even. You say you have to see it with Chase Young, and I agree. But even just what he's already shown was kind of enough for me to put him at 5. Which is again an indictment on the rest of the team.
Like he's next. My number 5 was Shaheed. Like I don't.
Yeah.
If you want to take Chase Young over him, I don't find it outrageous. I'm not sitting here saying what or anything like that. Like, okay, like it's a fine place to put him. I just got to see. I got to see a little bit more. 5 feels like it should come without disappointment. I don't feel like Rashid Shaheed has disappointed me yet outside of health, but like
that's the thing. He played 6 games last year. It's crazy. Like that's why I couldn't make up my mind on this stuff. Like I wanted to put Shaheed there too, and actually I'm really high on what Shaheed could be this year. But he played 6 games. I don't know. We don't think of him in the same vein as like McCoy and Taysom and Olave, but God, he's struggled with multiple injuries too, which. Hopefully he can get over it, but otherwise I would have been happy to put him higher too. It's a tough list.
It is a tough list. Like, yeah, I mean, there's not runaway top five guys. I don't know. It just kind of feels like that walking in with expectations and not having them met versus unmet, or expectations that were exceeded or no expectations rather.
No.
It's just like you kind of go in and you're like, man, this is awesome. Like that's what Shaheed is right now. Yeah. And whoever signs him to that next contract, if he's playing 6 games, they'll probably have that feeling that I have with Chase Young right now. But I have that feeling with Chase Young right now.
So here's something interesting. I think there's a lot of parallels with these two guys, Shaheed and Chase Young, in that when you see it, it looks as good as anyone on the field. Like we're talking home, they both hit home runs. They both have home run potential, one on offense, one on defense. Chase Young played all 17 games last year. He did come off the neck surgery, but he had a fully healthy season, and he's on his third NFL contract now. And he got paid 17 or 18 million a year. I think it was 17 million a year, which is less than half of the market. Myles Garrett got over 40 million. Michael Parsons is going to get there too. Rashid Shaheed now, if he plays a full 17 game season, fully healthy, is he anywhere near? He's a free agent next year. Is he anywhere near a $17 million player yet?
Yeah, probably so.
Probably,
if he plays
right around there. Right?
If he plays a full season, I think easy.
But he's
money.
not one of the top of the market, like $30 million receivers.
I think he could even exceed. If he has a healthy season at his potential level, I think he's getting paid a ton. I think he's getting paid a whole mess of money, probably more than. Like, it's going to be a lot. Like, I think he gets paid a lot. Receivers are making a ton of money, and there's a lot of crazy contracts. And he's somebody that you look at, and he's special. Like, he meets his specialness when he's on the field.
When he's on the field.
Yeah. And then he gives you the return ability where he's an all-pro. I think he's going to –
yeah.
I think if he has I think it's entirely dependent on him being healthy for a whole entire season.
He's had the torn ACL. He missed time with, I want to say, like hamstring or something, soft tissue. And then what was it last year? Why am I drawing a blank on what kept him off the field for 11 games? Last year was such a mess with injuries. I don't even remember the specific injuries. Was it an ankle?
But if he gets on the other side of it,
if he gets on the other
side of it, he's probably going to be a 1,000-yard receiver if he's on the field for all those games. Even if he's just at the rate he's been at, and it's like 800 yards. I think somebody pays him a ton of money. And really, you're looking at it, and if you're, I don't know, the Titans. If you're the Titans and you're trying to get your young quarterback, someone that's open all the time, someone's going to pay him a ton of money. And I think, if he's healthy, they'll probably be pleased. If he's on the field, anyone's going to be pleased with him. But yeah, it's been a lot of stuff.
It was a meniscus surgery.
That's right.
But yeah, look, I mean, that's my one concern. He's got a slight frame too. Like I hope he can get on the other side of it, but like they're not just fluky injuries. I mean, he's a smaller guy who takes a beating. So I wonder if that plays into the investments at all. But there's no question that we talked about this a couple episodes before. Like
it's one injury plague season. Like the first one was he came
he was coming off.
He came in with it, but he's got hurt once in the NFL.
But then didn't he miss? Was it like almost all a training camp with a hamstring? Like I feel like there's been a few things.
He's been on the last year was the injury season. Though. Like I think it's
for sure.
I don't think it's 3 NFL injury seasons. Like he had the knee, he came in, he was good, and then last year was a meniscus.
But that aside, that's my only concern with him. Yeah, and we talked about this a few episodes ago. Watching OTAs and minicamp, we only saw 5 practices, but him and Chase Young were my 2. Man, this guy. I mean, you just see it. He was leading the team in catches in the spring, doing stuff in traffic, doing stuff with slants, doing stuff with yards after the catch. In addition to his deep threat ability, there's a lot of special potential in him, no question.
Yeah, and if he hits it, man, yeah, I think he's going to make some decent money. But the Saints need it first, and that would go a long way towards helping one of these young quarterbacks. The Ochsner Orthopedics Walk-In Clinic is now open. Located at 1201 South Clearview Parkway, across from the Elmwood Shopping Center, this clinic provides convenient same-day care for a variety of orthopedic and sports injuries. No referral or appointment needed. Whether you need care for strains, sprains, fractures, sports injuries, or muscular pain, the team of orthopedic specialists offers care for patients 5 and older. Open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number 1 grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Shaw Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans. specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Shaheed Insurance, the Earhart agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Shaheed Insurance, the Earhart agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Shaheed. That's 504-326-6526. Shaheed Insurance, the Earhart agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. Moving on to our next topic, presented by Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey and Chilton County Peach Whiskey. Look for the red bottle, look for the orange bottle, they'll get you right. Coming into the next leg of this ranking, we have Justin Reid at 5, Demario Davis at 4, Chris Olave at 3, Eric McCoy at 2. We will start with Justin Reid. I think I had him a little bit higher than you had him. I believe I had him 6th. Brandon, you had him 2nd?
Second. B, you got to turn that mic on.
I did have him 2nd.
You got your mic on?
Yeah, I got it on. The way that I rank these is who can I win a game with and without. I think without Justin Reid on the field, the Saints probably cannot win a game. So that's why I have him at 2.
That's a decent way to rank it. Look, I think he's probably also, I had him 6th. I wanted to get him to 5th. I couldn't quite get him to 5.
That's where you had Shaheed?
Yeah, I just couldn't get him over the other side of Shaheed because I just feel like Shaheed's potential is so great, and Justin Reid is what he is at this point. I feel like he's a proven commodity. You know what you're getting every year with him. He's a solidified vet. And I feel like Shaheed's kind of even talent-wise, but the upside puts him a little bit ahead. So coin flip there. I've ranked him that way. I think he's a really good player, though. He's had some really good seasons. And I think he's going to be a big difference maker for this team. And with where they're at, yeah, top five is where he belongs, I think, on this list.
When I put my list together, I had a 5 through 8, and it ended up going Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Tyron, Justin Reid, I think. But I was like, you could jumble this order. We can come to a consensus on this. I'm not going to complain at all on him. But Reid, it surprised me that you guys ranked him so high. And again, like, we haven't watched him. If we had been covering the Chiefs the last 3 years, I'd probably feel a little differently. I'd probably rank him ahead of a Carl Granderson, who I'm giving credit for seeing, what he's done with the Saints. But Justin Reid never jumped off the page to me as like that number 2 on a list like this, or like guaranteed top 5 guy, because I see more solid than spectacular in his game. Again, a guy who's played 17, 16, and 16, but interceptions, just 3 over the last 3 years. Sacks, just 4 over the last 3 years. Never 100 tackles in his career. Only got to 90 once. Look
at his stops, though.
Yeah.
That's his game.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna stop a run in his tracks. He's gonna blow up a pass in the flat. Like, he's a in the box chaos type safety. Come down, make a tackle, be a solid tackler. He's not gonna miss a ton of tackles, and he's gonna be the reason that you stop a run at 2 yards and it doesn't go to 6. And I think that's his game, and I think he does that as well as anybody in the league.
I get it.
He's not a tyrant. He's not a. I think if you put him in the slot and asked him to blitz, he probably could. But I don't think that's his game, really. I think he's a guy that plays deep, comes down, and he's an enforcer in that short area of the field. And I think for the Saints, they need that really bad at that position. But I think for what he does, he is a premium player within what he is asked to do. Whereas, ranking him ahead of Chase, I feel like Chase is not a premium player in what he's asked to do.
And then the flip side of that argument is Chase Young, who has never been a premium player's position. We just talked about money. They were both free agents this year. Chase got $17 million a year. Justin Reid got $10 million a year. So it's what's valued in the NFL or whatever. But there's no question. I'm probably shortchanging him because I wasn't watching him do it for the team I cover right in front of my face. And when you're watching from a distance, splash plays get your attention more than down in, down out, solid, play. But
I think he has splashy plays though, man. Like I think that's what he does. Like he'll blow a guy up in the box. Like we even saw out here at camp. There were the two best plays of the whole summer on defense were by him, and it's him just like, he sees it, he comes on, he crashes out on it or whatever. But point taken on the positional value, but outside of like if we're doing that, then DeMario should be way down the list. So
that's
too,
fair. That's fair.
Like
of course.
I think within what he does, he's top tier at his position.
Our spoiler alert: our number one guy doesn't get paid very much either compared to
to
other. Yeah. So look, I'm like talking through my thought process, but knowing I could easily be wrong on it.
Who'd you have ahead of him that's already been revealed?
I said I had Granderson 5, or I had Chase Young 5, Granderson 6, Tyron 7. So, but I had those 4 guys in a group and couldn't really decide on my. Oh no, wait, that's not true because I had Shaheed in that group. So where did I have? Maybe it was those, but and Shaheed was in that cluster for me too. But I know I put Reid at 8. I know I had Reid at 8. So I wonder if I shortchanged Tyron and I had him a little lower, which I probably shouldn't have. Like I said, I was confused on Tyron because of how the team is using him right now. It's very clear that Justin Reid is going to be important to this team. There's no doubt about that.
B, what's your Chase Young, Justin Reid take?
I think that Chase Young has to come into what he's been advertised as. He has to come into being that player that, is commensurate to the pay that he's getting. But I think Justin Reid, he's the best player on a defense who isn't really looked fondly on right now. We don't know what they're going to be. So I think Justin Reid has to be on the field for the Saints to win a game. If Chase Young isn't on the field, it becomes tougher, but you still have Carl Granderson and you can win a game. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
My other piece of, and I co-sign most of what you just said right there. My other piece of this is I think if they have any success on defense this year, that Justin Reid's going to be central to that identity.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it too. And I think that's part of the reason that they paid him as well. I think.
Right.
And I think he's going to not cure, but I think he's going to play a big part if they turn around their run defense. I think he's going to be a huge part of it. And I think that was just such a glaring weakness for them the last couple of years. But look, there's also the element of this too, where I think for me, at least in some of these rankings, somebody that has never been able to disappoint you.
Yeah.
And he's never disappointed anyone yet.
Yep.
So, I think that plays a part, but going back watching him, I thought he had a really good year last year.
No question.
And I liked the signing when they made it. I don't, in hindsight of post-Carr departure, I don't know if I like it as much, just given where the team's at as far as the build. But I still like the player the same. It's just, do I like him as much? That's a whole different conversation outside of these rankings. But good player. And again, I think Chase at 5 makes sense. Shaheed at 5 would make sense. Justin Reid at 5 makes sense. I think once you get inside, this range, there's a lot of guys that make sense in that 5 thing. I think the top 3 are kind of, for me, like they're kind of set a little bit, top 3, 4, but like 5, like there's 4 or 5 guys that I think you could put there. And I don't think anything's out of pocket here.
Yeah. So we go to the rest of the list that you said. I mean, DeMario at 4. I actually if somebody wanted to change the order of our top 4 in any direction, if somebody wanted to put DeMario number 1 at this list, I couldn't even argue with them because obviously I don't think his arrow is pointing up at his age, and I don't think he just had the best season of his career compared to the other seasons we've seen with the Saints. But there's nobody that has just, you said, who's disappointed you and who's been on the field and who's been reliable. I mean, 16, 17, 17, 16 games. He's only missed 2 games over the last 4 years. He was still making Pro Bowls and AP second team All Pro, some of it on reputation the last couple years before that. Still getting 6.5 seasons in 2022 and 2023. So, yeah, we've seen a slight step back. He only had 2 sacks last year. We're seeing that one maybe half step slower in coverage, 1 half step slower, working sideline to sideline. But the leadership, the authority he plays the game with, the presence on the field, the knowing what he's doing, the being in there on every down, the being the quarterback of the defense, like, 4 was not a question for me, and if anything, he would have been higher for me on this list.
Yeah, I mean, all being fair, like Justin Reid probably is probably coming off a better season than DeMario did. He played on a better team though, so I don't know what that is, but I had DeMario, I think right here. I think I had him ranked 4th on my.
He just had his career high in tackles last year too, which is kind of crazy. 136.
But yeah, I mean, I went DeMario 4. I went him 2 spots ahead of Reid. Look, we've watched him hold it down for 7 years now, and he just means so much to this team. I think if you take him out of this equation, I don't like where they're at without him. I think he's instrumental in the rebuild, just kind of keeping a perspective within it. I think you need him here to be it. I think he is the Saints, like in a lot of ways. Like he embodies what they're trying to be, and maybe some things have changed a little bit. He missed, like you said, he missed his first game last year, but he's held it down for 7 years, and I think he's going to hold it down for 8.
B, back on the mic. You find out somebody's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. It's Justin Reid or DeMario. You actually feel worse about Justin Reid missing 4 games? I'm talking about makeup. This isn't fair for a top 21 ranking, but if DeMario was going to miss time and they're going to be like, we're going with Werner and Stutzman, like, I feel like there's something about DeMario makes me feel more comfortable. There's something a little more irreplaceable with the current makeup of the team.
And I don't want to be disrespectful to DeMario at all because of what he means to the team, but I feel the same way, kind of like you. If you give Stutzman a chance to prepare, I don't know what he can be. He can be good, and you can put somebody in there, but the fall off between Justin Reid and say a Jordan Howden is drastic to the point where I don't think you can even go on the field with that as an option.
It's an interesting conversation. It's a truly interesting conversation. I don't know what Sanker can be, but I don't like safety right now with the other options other than Tyron. Yeah. And I feel like you can move Werner over and put somebody else in there and be okay, and maybe you're all right. And then let's say Sanker's good. Like you could go to like a dime package and hide it. Like as long as you got Pete, I feel like is that the right way to judge it?
No, that's not why you rank someone in a top 21 because of who else plays their position. Yeah. But it was just funny that B said, when I look at this list, it would worry me the most if Reid wasn't on the field. And I think that's actually one of the pluses in Davis's check mark is you want him out there. You want other guys flying around and making plays around him, but there's some sort of calming presence knowing you have a real pro out there with a lot of questions.
Yeah, and it's just even beyond like just him be like him. Like him as a human being, like him being there, I think it carries weight. I don't know what that factors into. No, like I just mean like in the sense that he's somebody that people go to for like guidance. That he almost feels like, he's Miyagi, but he's still out there. He's still out there fighting at the same time. Like he kind of blends the lines a little bit between Danielson and the sensei, but he's the sensei and the fighter at the same time. And I just kind of feel like people look to him for, some of that guidance. And he's out there as their spiritual leader and all that stuff too. And I think his presence probably calms down young players, to some degree. And just his knowledge of system, his knowledge of everything that they're trying to do, new system and all that. But I assume he's going to have it down front to back, side to side, left to right, up to down, whatever it is. I think that he's somebody that can go and tell people in the different position groups, like, I think he knows things front to back that way. And I think that there's a lot of value in that. So I don't know what Justin Reid is in those aspects. He seems highly, highly intelligent. He feels like when you talk to him, like someone that has all the leadership qualities. But again, I've watched Demario do it for 7 winners now. Like, it's just that carries a little bit more weight.
I'm sitting here changing my mind on 5 through 9 constantly while we review this, but not my 1 through 4. Demario made my 4. No hesitation on Olave. I actually thought going into this, Olave would be my number 1. And it's really just the injury question with him. He hasn't been on the field enough to necessarily cement his number 1 spot. I don't know for 100% sure he's going to stay on the field, but I'm going to bet that he does. I'm hoping that concussions aren't a repeatable or predictable injury. And I think I went with, I can't remember if I went with Olave at 2 or 3. But there's a case for him at number 1. He's probably the most talented player with the highest ceiling of anyone on this list.
Yeah, I think we had the same 1 to 4. I don't know if we had them in the same order or not.
We both did. B was the only one who threw the wrench in there with Reid.
We had them in the same order?
We had the same 4. I don't know about the same order.
All right.
We had a universal 1-1-1, which we'll get to in the next segment.
I had Olave second, McCoy third.
I must have had McCoy second, Olave third, I think.
And then Demario fourth. So, yeah, I mean, look, my thing there is just that Chris plays a higher value position, and I think he might be the most talented player on the team. Yep. I wanted to put him number 1, but he just misses time. The time factors into it, and I think he's probably that. And if he plays every game, I think he's number 1 on the list. Yeah,
I have no hesitation saying he will. Ooh, I was going to say break his career records. He caught 87 passes in 2023, playing 16 games. I guess I don't guarantee he'll catch more than 87 passes, but I'll take the over on 1123 yards and the over on 5 touchdowns. Like
you have McCoy.
I went with McCoy second
yeah.
and Olave third, but I think their cases are very similar, the pluses and the minus with the injury question marks. But yeah, if Olave is going to be on the field, I'm predicting 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns and close to 90 catches. I mean, he's a true wide receiver 1 for me.
It's just bad criteria too, probably for a list like this. But if we were picking up guys, I'm picking up Olave first.
No question.
It's just that's bad criteria though. Like it's not a fair criteria, but we're jumbled into them. Everybody's got their reasons for putting them there.
Well,
I'm fine with either one.
Let me throw a reverse criteria at you too. And I'm not even married to it because I'm starting to think maybe I should have put Olave too. But exactly what you said about Chase Young and Justin Reid. McCoy is probably one of the 3 or 4 best centers in the NFL. Olave hasn't reached 3 or 4 best receivers in the NFL, and that's part of McCoy's case. Is when he's playing his position as close to the best of anyone in the league. That's one of the cases for him, I guess.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I just think Chris is a more talented player, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just do. And I think if he were healthy and had good quarterbacks and all that stuff, like maybe. I think the thing, look, they play together on the line, but I think the line is isolated in their own success and failure more so than any other position in the NFL. Yep. And if you're good at one of those positions, you're going to be good no matter what. Chris is only as good as Eric is. Chris is only as good as the guy behind Eric is.
Fair.
Like, there's a lot of things that kind of play into it.
Jim Harbaugh had a great line about that once when he was talking about why he always drafts offensive linemen. He said they're the only position on the field that to do their job well, like they have to do their job well. They're not depending on someone else. Like, and maybe that's part of the reason to rank McCoy is like McCoy has to drive this train. Like he really does. And that's including back and forth the years he's had to call out protections, the years he hasn't, being the quarterback of that offensive line and stuff. There's a lot goes into that job. And we just saw how much he meant to the team. He never earned a higher ranking on this team than when he got hurt in week 3 of last season, which is for sure. B, you also went with McCoy slightly ahead of Olave?
No, he had Olave or McCoy third.
Yeah, and he had Olave fourth because he had Justin Reid second.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, he had an amazing season. He did, except he was hurt, But when he was out there, it's the best he's ever played. He looked great, and they're going to need him to do that.
I could be sold on moving Olave to 2, though. I probably should have. Rethinking everything. That's why we should have recorded all this and then made the graphics.
Yeah, I mean either way though, it's a coin flip between those guys, and Yeah, honestly. I mean, if Eric was healthy the whole season, he could have been number one on the list too. Same for Olave. And the guy that is number one missed some time, but he still stayed number one. We will be right back with that right after this.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant dropped some new apps, and they nailed every single one. The Southwest Chicken Egg Rolls, crispy, packed with flavor, and the avocado ranch seals the deal. Crab claws in a creamy Cajun sauce? Don't forget the French bread. And the fried chicken cracklings? Crunchy, sweet heat. You'll want your own plate. Open 7 days a week, and yep, they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com.
Welcome to the Queen Casino, where entertainment meets unparalleled customer service. From our days on the water to our new land experience overlooking the Mississippi River, our dedicated staff is here to ensure your visit is nothing short of exceptional. Whether you are coming or going, our well-lit parking lot and security team provide guests with red carpet treatment. Our security team keeps watch so you can focus on fun and fortune. From table to table, our attentive staff is here to serve up the ultimate experience. Join us at the Queen Casino. Your royal adventure awaits.
Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for the reveal of the number one player on the list. You already know what it is. This one is presented by Shaheed Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Make sure you hit them up. Make sure you are calling the Earhart Agency. They will get you right. They will get you the best deals that you can find on your insurance. Give them a call today. Tell them that NOF sent you. Ask for Ryan, and he'll set you up. All right, so number one, AK. I guess there could have been a little doubt this year, but he's the guy. He's the best player on the team. He's the most healthy player on the team. He's the heart and soul of the team. He's the guy that has to play well for him to have any type of success, and that hasn't changed.
Well, it has changed slightly. What do you think he ranked for us last year?
I don't know.
Fourth.
Who was
Fourth.
ahead of him?
Olave, Lattimore, who's not on the team anymore, Olave, DeMario. Because Alvin had that little bit of a swoon, and it was dependent on, speaking of what we were just saying in the last segment, dependent on the offensive line really stunk. The offensive coordinators really stunk.
That's right.
But I think Alvin reestablished himself, and you used the best phrase of all, the heart and soul of the team. I mean, like, he's probably been team MVP six times in his 8 years playing on this team, and there were a couple years where the whole run game and the whole offense went to crap, and he suffered along with them. But man, he's the heart and soul. And when we saw them get back to some functionality, and actually that's one of the reasons why I still kind of sing the praises of Clint Kubiak, even though it didn't totally work out, is he rediscovered Alvin, and that was so huge for this team last year. I mean, Alvin turns the lights on in the building, and he's still got that ability. And when he's out there, he's still the special player on the field. This was the combination of sometimes when you're ranking guys like DeMario and Taysom and Cam Jordan way down lower on the list, you're like, what have they meant to this team? But what level are they playing at now? Alvin's doing both.
Boy, that Marshawn ranking last year is rough. It's rough to hear. I mean, he should have been, and I don't think he was terrible when he was playing, but he wasn't Marshawn. Marshawn was gone by the time he went, and I think there was a lot that went into that, but
he kind of stayed gone too.
He did. He didn't play well in Washington at all. Yeah, we'll see what he is this year, but that was tough overall. But yeah, no beef with Alvin being number one. He should be number one. He was number one on everybody's list, and he'll probably stay there. Like, I expect him to have another really good season.
I mean, look, so he turns 30 on July 25th. Happy birthday later this month to Alvin. And we've seen what happens to running backs. Does he have a repeat of last year? Is there untapped potential? Could he be better in Kellen Moore's offense? I mean, obviously, we just saw this guy coach Saquon Barkley. I don't draw an exact parallel. They don't have the exact same offensive line. They're not going to be playing with a lead 14 times this year or whatever. But, I mean, could Alvin be even better?
I don't know. I mean, he would have had 1,000 yards if he was healthy, and they were giving him a ton of carries and everything too. I personally don't want to see him have to carry the same volume. Fair. So I don't know what it looks like, but I expect him to remain as effective within the confines of what he's able to do. But even going back to before that, I never thought that. Like, I had done a million stories about when they gave him X amount of yards before contact, this is how many yards he was gaining, and the numbers were still there. So as long as they're blocking well for him, I think his effectiveness is going to remain. And I'm not worried about him. I think he's going to maintain his spot on this list, honestly.
What year do you think Alvin had the most touches of his career?
I would say it was either 20 or last year.
It was last year.
Yeah.
Most touches of his career. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they were using the hell out of him last year. I really don't want to see that again. I don't want him to get around 1,000 yards. I don't want him to even be in the neighborhood. I want to, and that would mean a couple things. Like, A, they're being smart about how they're using him, and then his effectiveness per touch is probably higher or better. And that would mean that somebody else has emerged as a viable ball carrier. And I think that's something that this offense needs. It would be good to see him kind of get in that role where you're using him in the most advantageous spots and somebody else can kind of do some of the workhorse stuff. Not that I think Alvin can't do that. I just would like to see some preservation of him and get 2 years out of him, 2 high quality years out of him instead of maybe just one more.
No question. Yeah, and look, that is something we didn't mention. When we were doing our rankings last year, he did not. Actually, it was probably shortly after he held out of the last day of minicamp. He got that contract extension while we were in California. Is that when it happened?
I can't remember.
For training camp. But turned out to be a good investment. There was some question about how much to invest in Alvin, just because of running back and timelines and age and the fact that they had drafted Kendry Miller and they had paid Jamal Williams, and he got the last laugh, he got the payday, and it was worth it. It was a good contract for them.
Yeah, it was. Moving on to the question of the day presented by Get Gordon. The Get Gordon question of the day presented by Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. If you are injured, make sure that you get Gordon. If Tyler Shough's the quarterback, if he's whatever week it is, week 1, week 4, week 6, whatever it is, what do you think? Well, let's say week 1, because let's just say he's starting the season with a job. To maintain his job, today's question is it record? Is it stats? Is it something else? What is it? What are the metrics? What metric are you looking at and saying this is what it has to be for Tyler Shough to keep his job?
Record for sure. I mean, that's going to be number 1, and that's stupid. But if they're 3-1, they're not changing that. If they're 0-4 because they're probably going to be the underdog in each of their first 4 games, then yeah, it's got to be staying out of trouble. Like not getting sacked too much, not turning the ball over too much, not looking overwhelmed, looking poised and comfortable. That doesn't necessarily have to show up in stats, but it needs to look like they're not hurting his development by feeding him to the wolves. So, but if it's wins, then that's definitely not happening. Wins keeps him on the field for sure.
Well, the losses take him off?
Not automatically.
We're on the same page then. I think for me it's neither. Really. I mean, the win part, yes. If you're
wins
winning,
keep you on the field even if you're struggling.
Yeah, if you're winning, you're staying on the field.
Yeah.
But outside of that, what would make him lose his job? I don't think it's either one. I think his stats could be mid. I think they could be losing every game. It's just really a matter of how it looks and what it feels like. And yeah, are you hurting his development? Does it feel like he's getting better? Is he throwing the pick in week 3 that he threw in week 1? Is he learning from that? I think it's all those things. I think it's outside the fact that I think in some form or fashion, the visual things end up getting reflected within the stats somehow. I think if you're completing 43% of your passes, you're probably struggling, and that gets reflected in it.
The turnover ratio can't be like,
Yeah.
There's a stat that matters to me. Like he just can't be going out there turning it over 3 times a game.
Yeah,
they
and
can't
like I
live
said,
with that. Yeah.
I think it ends up showing up on Pro Football Reference one way or another. But I don't think it's necessarily he's thrown 3 picks, so let's get him out of the game. Like I think there's a difference in certain types of picks or what. I think the leash is going to be really long when he goes out there, and it just you just got to see the progress. But yeah,
I mean, a good comp.
I think in the stats eventually.
Last year, Spencer Rattler was 0-6 as a starter, and there was never a time where I'm like, they got to get him out of there and they got to put Haener in because we were seeing enough. Like, hey, this is good for him. He's learning on the job. It's good, and then it's bad, and then it's good, and then it's bad. But we were seeing enough good that, like, we were like, we should keep watching this and keep letting him develop. Jake Haener's one half of football, he had to get pulled from that game.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, that was like 40-some%, I think, wasn't it? What was he passing for?
And I'm not saying it's over for Jake Haener, but I'm just saying like that was it when you see it. They have to make a switch.
46%, yeah. So yeah, I mean there it is. There's a great example right there. So yeah, that it's gotta look fine. That's it. And hopefully we looked fine on this show and every other show.
40% in that game. 46 for the season. He was 4 of 10 in the game at the time.
Oh, that's right. He went in a couple other times. That's right. I forgot he had a couple other cameos. Yeah, that's right. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.